Your leader lessons will teach you just how to reach your endless ambitions. Oh yeah, look at yourself in the mirror, turn that frown upside down. Show what you're working with. You can't depend on someone else to see your future. That part is up to you. Be a leader. You are a leader. You are a leader. Rising right up the ranks. You're a leader.
All right. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on what time zone you find yourself in as you're watching us here. Welcome to the latest edition of Legends and Leapers. My name is Ramon Lowe. I'm the Director of Membership and Industry Engagement for the Airport Minority Advisory Council. And really just one housekeeping note before we get to our guests and our hosts, Lauren and Ricky. And that is, again, our tentpole event, the 39th Annual AMAC Airport Business Diversity Airport Business Diversity Conference, which is going to take place August 3rd to the 7th in Nashville, Tennessee. Registration is open. It's been open for about a month and a half now. Please make sure you register because our hotel rooms are going quick. We've contracted with some overflow hotels, so there are more options out there, but you need to register first before you will be able to register at one or reserve rooms at one of our overflow hotels. So the process is you go to amac-org.com/annual conference, you register, and hopefully in an instant like that, you will be sent an email with a link that will allow you to register at one of our overflow hotels. So please go to the website. Please make sure you register. We have had a big rush of attendees or people who've registered to attend the conference. It's going to be, we say this every year, I know we do, but I really feel good about this one. And that is, this is going to be the best one yet because we keep topping ourselves every year. So anyway, amac-org.com/annual conference, register, get your hotel rooms. We still have sponsorships available. Please email me if you have any interest at all in any of the sponsorships. That's rlo@amac-org.com. So enough from me. I want to hand it over to my to the hosts, Mr. Ricky Smith and the notorious LMR Lauren Magnum Reed. Folks, take it away.
All right, before Lauren rudely jumps in, Ramon, thank you for the introduction. So first of all, for those of you that have been around, you kind of know the spiel, you know what Legends and Leapers is all about. We bring together a legend who is not necessarily someone that's old, but someone who's rather established in the industry, and a leaper, someone who's not necessarily young or younger, but someone who's emerging or still on the rise or relatively new in the industry. And we try to bring them together to see if there's any kind of divergence in thought as they respond to questions. And normally it's pretty entertaining, but it's also informative, it's inspiring, it's a whole bunch of things. What it's not is a good look for Lauren. So that being the case, why don't we turn it over to Lauren and see if she can do her best to try to introduce our panelists. Now, I will alert you guys that she will be reading this. And so if she sounds like she knows what she's talking about, it's only because she's reading the script.
Ricky, you don't like my pom-poms? I thought it was like cute. I was like, I'm gonna do something different, you know? Keep Ricky on his toes.
One keeps disappearing, but anyway, yes.
Oh,
So
man.
it's more like a palm. There you go.
Just one. All right. Well, there's two of them, just in case you're wondering, because I'm such a cheerleader for these two individuals. Segue. I'm excited to have both of these people on for we're in May. May is also Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And so I'm excited to be able to have the opportunity to honor this amazing month. I was unable to do it last year because I had a child, but that won't be happening again. So I'm excited to have Iva Chen and Mookie Patel with us this month. So I want to just jump right into it. So Mukesh Mookie Patel, CM, serves as the Director of Aviation for San Jose Manita International Airport, SJC, if you weren't familiar. In his role, he leads the airport staff towards fulfilling SJC's mission to connect, serve, and inspire, and its vision to transform how Silicon Valley travels. He manages a San Jose City department with an annual operating budget of $176 million, oversees a 2024-2028 capital improvement campaign budget for only $614 million, and leads more than 200 employees responsible for SJC's safe and efficient operations. Patel began his career in October of 1993 as the manager of commercial development at Kansas City International Airport, overseeing relations and compliance with airline and concessions. In 1998, he joined the Av Air Pros as business consulting practice manager. In this capacity, he managed the capital program budget for major investments for Terminal 1 at JFK International Airport and International Terminal Building at San Francisco International Airport. In 2005, Patel transitioned from airport to airline administration, joining Alaska Airlines as the Airport Affairs Corporate Real Estate Manager. He managed a diverse portfolio of airport relationships nationwide that include SJC, deepening his expertise in understanding SJC's economic impact in the Bay Area. In 2015, Patel became Senior Vice President of the Airline Affairs and Commercial Property at Denver International Airport, where he spearheaded stakeholder support for 39 gate expansion project and administered the opening of the new Westin Hotel. From 2017 to 2020, he served as Chief Aviation Administration Officer and Assistant Director of Aviation at San Antonio International Airport, where he was responsible for enhancing community connections and contributing to the city's economic growth. Before his tenure at SJC, Patel was the Business and Finance Chief Officer at Austin Bergstrom International Airport. There, he increased non-airline revenues by 9% over 3 years and facilitated investments supporting the airline's multi-billion-dollar investment plan. Patel holds a Bachelor's of Science in Aviation Management from Oklahoma State University and possesses a private pilot license. In 2022, he received the Dedicated Service Award from the American Association of Airport Executives and is a member of the Commercial Management Steering Committee of Airport Concession International. He is a passionate leader and mentor for his team, continuously seeking meaningful connections and industry professionals. Ricky, I memorized all of that, and I just want to let you know that that was right here. I was not reading for everyone that's tuning in. But Iva did send me a new bio, so I am going to read this. I just want to throw that out there. So Iva Chin is the founder of IOC Design and Consulting, is an ACDBE, MBE, WBE certified business that specializes in restaurant consulting and airport food and beverage concessions. In addition to her work with IOCDC, Iva is the Vice President of Business Development for Lady Luck Gourmet, LLG, Iva, all of these acronyms, that started in 1999 as a successful single location owner operator, ACDBE at SFO, operating Personalities Go Bistro, and more recently, Mama Go's Filipino Cuisine, formerly Goldilocks. In 2018, LLG promoted Iva from Director of Finance to Business Development to expand the company offerings to include growing the Mama Go brand in airports across the U.S., RFP proposal services from bid to build out, full airport F&B operation management services, and everything in between. Today, Mama Go's is the highest rated quick service restaurant in SFO with a solid 4.5 stars and over 300 reviews on Yelp, and has been featured in Food and Wine magazine as a standout dining option at SFO, the best airport for food in America, as voted on by our readers by the Points Guy as one of the top 10 airport restaurants in the world. So good you won't have to leave the terminal. Matador Network as judge on the Food Network's hit show Shopped. Favorite airport restaurant as well, Eater, SFO, and more. Iva practically grew up in the airport F&B world as she watched her father work his way up with HMS hosts, from manager trainee at LAX to vice president of Western Region, and then managing director of Lady Luck Gourmet. One of her first jobs in high school was working as a cashier at a snack bar at SFO. She also was an accounting intern at HMS Host and spent her summers working at restaurants in SFO. Before joining LLG, Iva started her career with Big Four public accounting firm Deloitte & Touche as an auditor specializing in the manufacturing industry. After earning her CPA license, she joined the ranks in corporate finance at other Fortune 100 companies. In 2011, she left corporate America to join her family business, Lady Luck Gourmet. In 2015, she spent 8 months in China building a chain of pizza restaurants. She has also done contract work for a boutique experiential marketing agency, working with brands such as Taco Bell, Herbalife, Hyundai on brand activations across the United States. Iva, if that wasn't enough, has graduated from USC Santa Barbara with a degree in business economics and an emphasis in accounting. During college, she attended U.S. Army ROTC boot camp in Fort Knox, Kentucky, and graduated ranking 4 out of 250 cadets. She is also a graduate of the Riordan Fellows Program at the UCLA Anderson School of Business, where she was awarded Mentor of the Year in addition to being a licensed CPA. Iva holds a California real estate broker's license, multiple insurance licenses, and most recently passed the WSET Level 1 Award in wines. She's a proud momager of 2 young children, and her latest project is co-funding the Travel Nanny, a tech startup also related to the travel industry that will be like the Airbnb for nannies worldwide. Welcome to the stage, guys. Mookie, Patel, and
Wow.
Iva Chin. I'm done, Ricky.
Wow,
Goodbye.
that's a mouthful. I mean, wow.
Sorry.
As you can see, we have 2 amazing panelists. Both of them have been living 28-hour days for quite some time now. So commend you on having such amazing, amazing careers. And so
Commend you on reading all of that.
well, let's applaud you as well for there's a saying, you don't applaud a fish for swimming, right? So
Are you
we're
calling me a
gonna applaud
natural,
you.
Ricky? Are you
We're
calling
gonna
me a
applaud you
natural at
anyway.
this?
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you.
going to applaud you anyway, Lauren. Thank you very much. So, what I didn't say in the opening was that I'm going to leave about 15 minutes early. So I won't be
Wow.
here for the end. So I'm going to try to start from the end. So if we can be like Covey and begin with the end in mind. My
That is
first
my
question is,
favorite successful habit. So yes, we can.
okay, all right, Lauren, it's about the panelists. It's about the
Okay.
panelists. Okay. My first question is, so what do you want the listeners to remember about you when this session is over?
Iva, you want to go first?
The
Gosh,
smartest person should go first, yes.
no, that's not me. Um, Gosh, you said you weren't gonna these hardball. We were not prepped with any of these questions, by the way. So we are getting like cold called right now.
That's right.
I I've always been really outspoken, and I just want people to remember about me. I'm just here to like shake shit up, like put my mark on the world, leave a legacy for my children, really expand the world and create like kind of turn it around. What people expect airport dining to be, they're always like, oh, airport food, it's expensive, it's horrible. No, we're going to give you great food, great service. It's going to be fast, it's going to be amazing, and we're going to delight the hell out of you with our cuisine. And we can make that happen and just make it different and make it, I don't know. And I'm here to do that. I don't
So Iva, people will remember shit, just so you know.
I know, sorry. I have like a sailor's
That's
mouth.
okay.
Sailor's mouth going through Army ROTC.
Right?
For me, I'll tell you, when I was young, I always used to say that I always wanted to manage people. And then when you start managing people, you're like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever. And so similarly, as you mature in this industry and you get to whatever your peak of your industry is, if you want to be a department head or you want to be an assistant director, deputy director, or a director, there's more eyes on you and the world gets a little bit pricklier as you climb a ladder. And so if there's one thing that I'd like people to remember about me is I'm going to be a truth teller and I sleep on an integrity pillow every day. And so if I don't sleep well at night and I haven't told the truth, then there's something wrong with my universe. And that's what I want people to know about me.
Wow. You guys are impressive right out of the box.
Thanks for
Right out
sharing
of the
the
box.
advance, Ricky.
Can I add
Right.
one thing?
Yes.
I think people underestimate me, and I kind of love that. As you guys can see, I'm a little ditzy. I'm like small, petite Asian girl, and you know, we can be really candid. I've seen the previous episodes of this. Like, people don't expect much from me. They don't. Y'all just heard my bio. I'm sure you had no idea of what I've done in my past. I can also call it my past life. But I love that people underestimate me, and then I'm coming in and I'm gonna take charge and make stuff happen. So just
Well,
remember
Iva,
that.
after hearing your bio and hearing your first response, if you think people aren't expecting much from you, you're delusional. Because that's just not true. You're very impressive. Next question. So we're all in this amazing industry, and as Lauren went through as she stumbled through your bio, she kind of illuminated a lot of the successes, accomplishments that you all have had in this industry. So as you kind of look at your experience in the industry, I mean, who owes who? Do you owe the industry, or does the industry owe you?
I'm pretty selfless, so I've always owed the fact that this recent jump to my new role that I just started back in March, people were asking me, well, what made you want to move out to California? Very expensive place to live. It's another city-run airport. Obviously, compensation and cost of living don't marry up. But it was one of those things of I've circled the industry like a hawk for 30 years, but I keep telling people I've never seen the sun rise from the top of the mountain. So I wanted to give it a shot. But with that, it's not about me, it's about who I can bring up to the top of the mountain with me, right? How can I educate younger professionals? How can I start a training program with my local university that can cultivate young minds and bring them into the airport industry? And that's what I'm here to do, is to look out and support others as opposed to supporting myself. That make sense?
Mukti, you've been a CEO for a long time. You're just getting the title,
That's,
and that's the way a lot of us see you. Yes,
you live it, then you learn it, right? I
there
mean,
you
you learn from your mistakes too. So I got a lot of those.
I was still catching my breath from the bios, and just in awe. So, Mookie, I really want to get into this integrity pillow.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone say that. And I think what you just said, it was simple yet loaded and profound. And you were talking about being a truth teller, but what else is encompassed in your integrity pillow, right? Like, it's more than just telling the truth. We feel like at a certain age you should be doing that anyway. Not that everyone does, but what else creates your integrity pillow? What else helps you be able to, like, I did the right thing today. I can lay my head down on this particular pillow at night.
Part of it is you get tested along the way. This has been 30 years of a roadmap. I've moved my wife, 7 times. This will be her 8th move in the 30 years we've been married together. And I'll tell you, you get tested in your personal life too. Why are you doing certain things? What pursuit goals do you have, and when do you finally find success, right? Is one thing. But to answer the deeper part of your question is, you get tested, you either break an ankle or you twist an ankle. It doesn't matter. You focus on the recovery, and then you move on from it. And so there was a time in my career where this industry has been kind to me, from supporting me, but then there's people who never knew me that weren't so kind to me along the way either. And so being written up in the newspapers, called out for, you know, certain things. I mean, I've been written up in the Juneau Empire in Juneau, Alaska, that says, Mookie Patel believes Juneau is a shrinking community. That's pretty tough. I got the mayor's chief of staff in Colorado Springs dismissed from his role for asking a question to me when I was at Alaska Airlines about transportation of marijuana from Colorado to Washington State when I worked at the airlines. I was caught up in a procurement scandal in Denver where my boss and I were called out for a bribery scandal. And so, truth be told, it's your integrity is the only thing that lets you sleep at night. But you learn from all of those opportunities, and people who may say good things, but then say bad things. And that's just what's rooted me, right? I keep my blood pressure in check. Does that help?
No, that was awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for your candidness and your transparency. I'm just picking up nuggets. Someone else just said I'm a sponge right now. That is, yeah, thank you. So Iva, you talked about and for those of you that have not met Iva yet, Iva, and I'm gonna I don't know if it's the Army or a sailor, but like Iva is this probably all of 5 foot, and I think she had on heels. Just badass, right? A story real quick. I met her when I was working with Servy, and there was some things that I needed from her for it was Goldilocks at the time. Now it's Mama Goes. But she was like, "Oh yeah, I can get that for you right now." I'm like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "Yeah, I'm in the hospital about to give birth, but like, let me get that over to you." I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, what?" Like, you don't have, you know, it's okay. Let me do it now before the baby gets here, is essentially what she said to me. So, Iva, you know, you've worn a lot of hats over the years, over just your career, right? What has been the hardest hat that you put on your head thus far?
I think you can agree, Lauren, being a mom. Like, it is so hard, especially modern day parenting, modern day motherhood. This the levels are so high, it's crazy. You know, you have the Pinterest moms and Instagram. You see all this what people want you to see, and you hold yourself to these new standards, and it's so hard. And being a working mom and an entrepreneur, I mean, everything is tugging in every direction. And I'm actually supposed to be at volunteering at my daughter's school right now for her like thing. But you know, there's so many things tugging at you. It's so hard to balance. I have to really compartmentalize my life and earn that time with my family. I work hard and I play hard. That might be my UC Santa Barbara, you know, ethos that I got from being going to a party school, but also like I finished college in 3 years. You know, I worked real hard and I drank every weekend and partied, you know. So, but balancing that it's been really, really challenging, especially with 2 kids. One is like, okay, yeah, we can double up, you take him, this, that, whatever. 2 kids now is like total different ball game, you know. That's the hardest role. And everything that I've done in my past has kind of led me to where I am today. And we were talking about, do you owe the industry or does the industry owe you? I never feel like anybody owes me anything. You have to go out there and you have to get it for yourself. Nobody owes you anything. The world doesn't owe you anything. You have to get it for yourself. You have to make it happen. So, so yeah, it's definitely the hardest thing is being a mom in today's modern world.
So you talked about, Ivy, you talked about balance, and you know we all aspire to find this balance. That's so difficult to find, and I don't even know that we recognize it when we get there. But how do you go about achieving this balance? You know, you're a very progressive, successful working mom, and you know Mookie is a very successful, you know, working dad. You know, how do you guys go about, you know, finding that balance, and what does it look like when you get there?
Yeah, I am going to quote one of my inspirations, Indra Nooyi. She's the CEO of, is it Pepsi or Coca-Cola? I hate saying that. It's one or the other. And I listened to her on a panel, and people always ask working women, how do you do it all? And she says, I don't do it all. I have to tell myself what it means to be a great mother, a great wife, a great daughter, whatever. And whatever that looks like for you, you focus on that. Everything else, you hopefully have the means to like outsource. So to be a great mother, that means I'm showing up at the after school activities. I'm there. It doesn't mean I have to cook for my kids. It doesn't mean my house is going to be spotless. That's not what being a great mother and a wife means to me. So that stuff, yeah, the house is going to be kind of messy. Yeah, we eat out every single meal. I really enjoy food. I'm in the restaurant industry, so I love trying new restaurants and stuff. I don't have the time to cook, and I don't feel like that's important for me as being a mother to cook every meal for my kids. So those words that Indra Nooyi said really resonated with me, and I live those words to this day.
Yeah,
So Mookie, I suspect you're not cooking every meal either, right?
no, but I would say that don't let perfect be the enemy of good, right? So being the perfect parent or the perfect employee or the perfect employer to your employees. It's kind of like catching a shooting star. It doesn't happen all the time. I mean, you can be good at something. You don't have to be perfect at something, and then don't beat yourself up when you can't hit perfection at it. And I think teaching resiliency to your children and your coworkers, and you know, of 10 memos that might come across my desk that go to city council, maybe 2 or 3 of them are perfect. I don't have to comment on them. But you don't let those that are having to rewrite feel bad, and those that write them perfectly feel too good, because it changes. The game is always changing. So but being respectful and being appreciative. My children are grown adults now at 27 and 22, knowing that they can be comfortable in the eyes of their parents making mistakes, because we'll be there to catch them. And I do that to my employees too.
So I'll ask another question while Lauren tries to engage, because it seems like she's having a her own separate chat room with her soror, Myrna White. So you guys should probably get a room and do that on your own. But anyway, as we were. So I mean, the two of you have talked about some amazing characteristics of yourselves and actually remarkable ways. To try to bring some clarity to that, can you share with us what you would deem to be your superpower?
Empathy. Um, uh, Seeing every challenge through another person's eyes is really important to me, before I react, which is hard, and I'm still working on that. I'm a work in progress, but I would say, sometimes I speak off the cuff and I react too quickly, but I try really hard at being empathetic to others, and then having strong listening skills. And I can never get perfect at it, but I'll keep trying.
Gosh. Um, I call it like plate spinning and keeping things going and keeping the ball rolling. I have this way of just, I don't know if you call it multitasking, but you guys, my career is all over the place. I have a lot of things going on at the same time. And when I say I'm a momager, my kids are actually in the entertainment business. So literally a momager. So just balancing all that. And I tell my husband, like, I hope you're appreciative that like our household is still running and functioning. That running the household in this entire universe is like a job in itself, and I think I'm pretty good at that. And yeah, I saw someone's comment, getting underestimated is my superpower, and maybe that's it too. I love that comment in the chat. So yeah, I kind of like fly under the radar. I was really excited to be on this panel because nobody really knew who I was, and I'm excited to share like these little tips that I've gotten from other, amazing women and leaders along the way.
No shit, Iva. Um, so I don't know. I don't know why I don't know why I said that. See, I'm
No, I
telling you, it's
love
sticking. It
it.
sticks. It sticks. I'm sorry I said that. So I was about to ask another question. I think Lauren was going to jump in now. I've lost my
Well,
my train
since
of
you're
thought.
leaving us early, I was trying to make sure you
Yeah.
were able to, shoot from the hip
So
every time
I
every
think
chance you got.
when we were going through the rehearsal prior to the cameras coming on, prior to going live, Lauren decided to reveal to everybody a shortcoming that I have. I can't swim. I'm terrified with pools. I don't believe I can float. And so I'm trying to fix that. I'm trying to get over that. And so I think the world knows now because it was posted all over Facebook. But that's a shortcoming of mine that most people don't know. Do
Only
you
one.
have one? Notwithstanding Lauren's inappropriate question, only one. Yes, only one. What might be yours that the audience wouldn't imagine?
I have super low EQ, and that's something that I have to really, really work on. And it's been brought to my, and people, that integrity and that honesty and telling people what they need to hear, like the people who really love me and care about me tell me that, and they make it known so that I have to hear that, and so I can work on that. And so I'm like reading books, there's ways to learn how to like be more empathetic. And Mookie, I love that that's your superpower, because it's not mine, and it's something I'm constantly working on. So I can come off like you either love me or you hate me, because
I love
Okay.
the fierceness that's coming out of your voice there. For me, I think my biggest fear is always fear of failure. And a failure to me may be something that's just small. Either I didn't respond to somebody's text message and I totally forgot about a meeting that was scheduled. It could be something that minor to forgetting to call my mother, which is a major failure on my part, right? And so she lives multiple time zones apart from me, so it's difficult to catch that. So I always have a fear of failure, but it keeps me. I think it keeps me humble too, because it could be just a feel. I have my average age of my organization here in San Jose is very, very young. The engineers, the planning and engineering department probably has an average age of maybe 32 to 35 years old. Very, very young professionals, right? And they they like the FaceTime. If I'm going to require them to be in the office, then they don't want to see my door closed all the time. So I'm constantly trying to make time to be with them and be in front of them and make them feel comfortable. And that builds this kind of unity. But I also have this fear of, oh my gosh, if I didn't make eye contact with somebody, are they going to not appreciate me as much as I appreciate them? So fear of failure comes in different forms and fashions for me. It comes out differently. It could be just the smallest things, but I don't like it when I catch myself failing. It's not a big thing. It can just be something that just catches me wrong. I'm not sure. I'm sure being in multiple businesses, you probably also you know you probably grow from those failures as a business owner too. Um,
I never want to let people down, and that means my employees, who come to work every day, work really hard for us. Like that's why, we opened at the beginning of the pandemic. Literally, we were supposed to grand open on March 23rd, 2020, and the shelter in place was issued March 16th. So when we had to make those phone calls and say, "Hey guys, I'm so sorry, you don't have a job to come to," that I felt like such a failure, and everything we were building up, I was like, oh my gosh, these people have no jobs. And then we ended up opening in May, but constantly keeping our doors open. And I remind our customers that too, we charge what we charge, not to get rich, but to keep our doors open, especially, during these pandemic times. It's crazy. And it's to make sure we have money to pay the payroll, to pay our staff, because they are the ones showing up. We have a saying, like, if you don't take care of your customers, take care of those who do. So I make sure our people are taken care of so that they can take care of our customers, which, it's you guys are very familiar with this world. So I never want to let them down. I don't want to let down the people who invested money in our company, our partners, and who put their trust into me. Everybody's hard-earned dollars. So yeah, that fear of failure. And I have also like imposter syndrome too. That's like a whole nother topic. But am I worthy to be in this position to do this for people?
Ivor, you only get one shortcoming. You've gone through like 4 or 5 now. So
Was that a hype joke, Ricky? How
I have a lot. I have a lot.
um Mookie, so one of the things, and Mookie, we talked about this, going into the call, that we haven't had, FaceTime. But from hearing your answers and seeing just how the chat is lighting up about how awesome you are, I can see why so many people have tuned in and are such big fans of yours. My Sora Myrna is one of them. You see, she agreed with Ricky saying that you've been a CEO long before assuming the title. One of the things that you guys both talked about was like letting people down, right? Or just making sure that you're giving people what they want. And being a director of an airport, director of aviation of an airport, and having so many people that you're managing, overseeing teams, etc. How heavy is that for you when one of your biggest shortcomings is making sure that you're not like failing people, right? Or misstepping. Something as small as, I didn't get the FaceTime that I wanted that day. Does that weigh heavy on you like at the end of the day, or do you kind of replay what your day looks like because of that?
I try my best. And as Iva and I were saying earlier, being a perfect mom is never going to be that. Being a perfect dad or perfect parent is never going to be that. Being the perfect role model is just unachievable. You just try your hardest. Talk about Myrna. I was a two-bit player in this industry in the early '90s, and I bumped into Myrna at a conference in the '90s, and she took time out to make eye contact with me and talk to me and make me feel good about where I was in this industry and where I was going. Um, and so I just told her that just this last year, I believe, the last time I saw her, just how you can be an impact player in somebody's lives and not even know it. And that's what I try to achieve today. I'm sure you do that with a lot of your frontline employees too. You just try to play the role and be as important in their lives, your employees, coworkers, staff, concessionaires, even my leadership downtown, just be the part that you can play the best. And it's teamwork that kicks in after that. Right? My team, one of them is in this chat today, Gene. He'll let me know, right? Gene will let me know where I have not had time to meet with his plumbers or his maintenance techs, and will call me out for an opportunity when that time comes, right? But we'll play it by ear. Some of the graveyard shift folks that I don't see all the time, I will. Here's commenting there. I will do that. But that's where your team players will help support and build you up to, and that's important.
Absolutely. Nobody got here on their own, and so I'm always here. We're definitely a team in the airport world. It's a team. It's its own city, the airport. It's a community, and I always come to our meetings like, how can I support you? What can I do? How can I give you the tools and whatever you need to do your job effectively? And because these people, they want those, and it just makes for like a happy work environment. And we call us a family, and we don't use that term loosely. We're not familial, like blood related, but it's a really nice place to work, and people love being there. Most of our staff have been with us for like 10-15 years, and I think that says something, in this generation of like high turnover, especially in the restaurant industry. So yeah.
Why did you agree to participate in this program?
in in AMAC.
No, Legends and Leapers.
Oh, I don't know. I was so excited. I'm just really very honored to be able to just talk and share my story and kind of like get my name out as well, in all honesty, because I've been flying under the radar for a really long time. I live in LA and I operate a restaurant in SFO. So people don't see me, they don't see what I do, they don't know what I do, but I'm there. I'm on the computer. I have the cameras up all day long. I mean, my team knows what I do, but people outside my team have no idea. Uh, and it's just really interesting. So uh, and then just sharing my wisdom, and I love being a minority female in this world. Like, this is a old white man's world. I mean, I grew up in this industry. I've seen the players. There's no one like me in it. And I like and the Laurens and and the Ramones. Like, we are new to this, and I love that we're making our mark in this world. It's our turn. There, we are pulling up a chair to the table. The table's always been there, but we are pulling the chair up. than making it happen.
I would say,
So
aside from Lauren being on the call today, I have a quota of words I have to get out every day. And so you just have to ask, and I'm ready to talk. It's an opportunity to preach good in this industry. And as I mentioned, you know, these are positive ways where people can learn from others. And if people on this call don't know me, I do this thing with my friend Eddie Angeles. He teaches at Cal State LA. Eddie now used to work for LAWA. He now does governmental affairs work for for American Airlines, and he teaches Cal State LA aviation law. And every semester, there's about 30 students, mostly inner city LA students that are studying aviation or aviation law. And what I do is I go through my LinkedIn profile with them, and I walk through how I moved around this industry, what I learned, where I learned it, how I built a fabric around my career. But at the end of the day, Ricky, it's connections and it's people, and it's not for financial gain. It's for positivity and making lives better for other people. And so if the 67 people that are on this call today, you know, I just thoroughly enjoy connecting with people, and the organization asked me to be on it, and I did it just because it's a good way of giving back. And if there's something I could teach somebody, just a nugget, I'm happy to do that.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because we don't pay very well for this show, and it's not sponsored, and so you're not going to strike any of those kinds of deals. So we appreciate you. So with that, I am going to hop off. Ramon is going to take this show to another level, despite Lauren's continued participation. I'm going to wish you the best of the rest of the show. And Lauren, my amazing sidekick, love you. Good to see you.
Stay away from water till you learn how to swim
Oh no, you did not.
for the time
Yes, you
being.
did. Yes, you did.
You did not.
Bye, Ricky.
Bye,
All right,
Ricky.
now the show can really get started, guys. Thank you for enduring that time while Ricky Smith blessed us with his presence. So I have a couple questions I want to ask, but Mookie, I know you answered this privately, but I want everyone to kind of be able to hear this as well. So someone asked Mookie, thanks for doing this panel. You are highly respected in the industry, and I know you had options offered to you. What made you decide to stay on the public side versus going on the consultant side or other opportunities?
Yeah, there was 2 pending offers that I had to go to the private side before I accepted this role, and it was a pretty heart-tugging kind of an opportunity. And I'm 53 years old, and so you know, when you get closer to that countdown clock of how many more years do I want to work, you start doing the math, and you can be greedy, or you can be satisfied, and you can be selfless. And I felt that this job was going to give me some form of satisfaction career-wise. I get to be myself. I get to be true to myself. When I went through an interview process, and I tell a lot of young professionals, an interview is a two-way street, right? It's an opportunity for you to learn, but you don't have to accept the job. You're always in the driver's seat. You can say no. But if it feels good and it feels right and you feel supported, then you should jump at it, because there's a lot more wealth that you will get out of it, and it's knowledge wealth, and it's emotional intelligent wealth, and it's partnership wealth, and it doesn't have to be money. I know I will die broke as a public citizen, a public employee, but that's okay. I will have had a fabulous career. So that's kind of where I'm at mentally and emotionally right now.
You just said something that a lot of people, and I know I won't say a lot of people because some may be better at it than I am, but and this goes back to your integrity pillow, right? And just who you are as the core of you as a person. But you talked about the interview being a two-way street. And just because they offer you the job doesn't necessarily mean you need to take it. This could be from a money perspective, right? This could be the end all be all for you. But what are your core values? What is really going to make you happy and keep you satisfied at the end of the day, and the impact that you're able to make and leave on people. And Mookie, again, like, hopefully you will be in Nashville, because I just kind of want to sit down with you. People are always asking like, oh, would you go to, how much money would you spend to go to dinner with Jay-Z, or what would be that first question you would ask, etc. But like, you're genuinely someone that I would want to sit down with and just pick your brain, because you're effortlessly dropping nuggets. And it just speaks to who you are as a person. I think that's absolutely amazing. So thank you.
I'll hand it to Ramon. Ramon's known me for a couple of 3 jobs and has come to my
It's
rescue
Denver.
times. I came to his rescue. The world gets really small when we're either changing roles or in between opportunities, and it's those people who reach out to you that basically are there to give you a hand if you need it or don't. And I've done that for Ramon. Ramon's done that for me too. So it's how you build that network legacy is important. I would say the same thing for you. As you continue to grow and prosper, you have a strong footing in not forgetting the early relationships that you've built, right? You don't forget them just to jump ahead and build new ones. You still cultivate those smaller relationships that you've had, and then bring them along with you. I find those very, very, very beneficial experiences when you don't stop learning from people.
Yeah, and actually, I should credit Ramon. I just joined AMAC at the AXN conference back. It was that April, beginning of April, and we had our like new member call, and I got some really great advice from Ramon, and really like no one knows who you are, and that was really the thing. But I've been in this for so long, yet people don't know who I am. So really grateful for the effort that AMAC has, an opportunity that AMAC's given me, and this is a great opportunity to give back, however I can.
Oh, definitely. And Lauren, if I may add a question. I know Ricky just plows through usually, and you're not used to that, someone asking for permission. But I will ask for permission to ask them this question. Am I granted?
Yes, please.
Awesome. No, thank you both of you for the kind words. And Mookie, just to echo on what you said, for those in the room or that are watching, this may seem like a large industry, but it's a small industry. You don't have to play 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon before you can kind of trace your way back to someone who has an impact on you. And so I always tell people that I meet, and Iva, you're far more advanced than some folks who are just new, let's say. But connect with as many people as possible. You never know where your opportunity and learning or whatever comes from. And believe me, Mookie, we have a lot of side conversations. We know when we've been in certain spaces, the relationships come that you didn't think you valued or would be there. They rise to the top. So it's amazing in that. Anyway, my question though is, I want to make it a little more fun. It seems though, even though you're both, legend leaper, and maybe some of your career trends have not been as long as in comparison to one another, but you both have acquired so many different skills and experiences in your time. And now you've ended up here. I would like to personally know, what is a really unique skill? Don't give me, Mookie, I know you're going to default to something from Covey or whatever, but I'd like to hear from each of you, like a really cool, unique skill that you've had to kind of utilize that you didn't think you'd have to utilize. I will say this, like, I know Lauren, you pull out the mummy card too, man. That helps a lot in organizing folks, right? But something like that. There's something unique skill that people should know about. I'll go with Iva. Give me a little time to digest.
I mean, I'm a CPA. I came from the auditing world and internal controls and Sarbanes-Oxley generation. So I bring to the restaurant world something that most restaurant owners like don't have, which is like systems buildings and internal controls. And I know this is such a like a nerdy answer, but you know, I'm teaching them how to do my managers and team how to do inventory counts and how to set up internal controls. And they're like, this is ridiculous. And these are people who have never done anything like that before. And now they love it and they understand it and they get why we're doing it. And these systems that we put in place, and it just makes life so much easier. And I threw a lot of technology at them too. So it's, you know, I'm like a nerd at heart, a real technical person and doing financial analysis and data. So that's like this weird, again, I don't know, I'm all over the place, but a weird skill that I bring to our team that most restaurateurs don't do, I think.
Yeah, I will add to what Iva said is, you know, between 35 and 45, I think were my prime learning years of how to be a professional, how to be a manager, how to observe and learn from others' mistakes. And during that time, I probably worked for one of the best CEOs I've ever worked for. His name's Brad Tilden, and he ran Alaska Airlines majority of my years there. He was a CPA. He was an accountant. And the airline prided itself on being an accounting firm that just happened to fly planes. And that's what they're saying was. But similarly, the CEO before that, Bill Ayer, had a different set of philosophy of just using your grandmother's rules, right? Don't bite off more than you can chew. Eat, finish your plate. Don't try to be something that you're not. And so Alaska Airlines stayed true to its values. But both of the qualitative and the quantitative side of that, those learning years, that 10 years I was there, has me always believing that if you develop a system, Iva just nailed it right there. If you develop governance on a project, that you know if this goes wrong or if this exceeds this value, then this is where you take the questioning and the approvals, or you're empowered to make decisions under this dollar threshold. I don't want to hear about them, just make them happen. And when you have a system, it's kind of like a football team, right? You have some players that play well in the system and some that don't, and some quarterbacks that can move on to another system and do really, really well. And you're proud of them for doing that. But I think we work better. There's less emotion, there's more structure, but enough structure that doesn't create anxiety. And those are the things that I've kind of learned along the way.
Exactly.
That's
Gosh,
good.
that was so much better said.
Well, no, that's just seasoning right there. See, and I always talk about the legends, right? The legends, we're not gonna call them old, they're seasoned. That, you know, Iva, and I, you know, not how sure how old you are, but one of the things that Mookie just said that was, again, like nugget, he said his biggest learning was from 35 to 45. And I'm like, wow, you know, you think, oh, we go to college and we go to school and we get all this education and that's where our knowledge comes from. And he just basically said, you know, under great leadership and just life from 35 to 45, that's where he got a lot of his seasoning. So you got a little bit more time, Iva, you know what I mean?
Very little. I'm old.
That's
This
all
Botox is working. I'm 42
looks,
in case anyone's wondering, turning 43, and so only have a few more years of seasoning to get.
well, hurry up. We're gonna have to put you in the boil or something for a little Old Bay, you know, all that. But let it all marinate.
And
but,
I love. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, Mookie. Kimberly Davidson asked, what advice do you have to navigate the industry and maintain your truth-telling quality while holding fast to your integrity when politics or competing interests may attempt to derail, silence you, or as you shared before, misrepresent you and your intentions?
Wow. Your accelerator pedal. You know how when you're teaching a child or even, you know, I just got kids that she's about to teach how to use those little Barbie toys, you know, where you push the gas. kids can instinctively know when to push the gas, when not to push the gas, right? Their head moves forward, like a little baby. Use that analogy in the workplace of when to hold back and when to go full throttle, right? And I think going full throttle happens later in your career, when you've got a good safety net of folks, when you've got a good industry to depend on, when you've got people like, Ramon or Ricky or Myrna or one of my mentees is on the call today, Talia, KG. And so she'll reach out to me when she's got a question. I'll reach out to somebody else who's more mature than I am. But knowing your throttle of when to go full blown, gas, pedal to the metal or whatever they used to say, um, and engaging yourself, you'll learn a good speed of when to make the right mistakes, when you want to just give it your all, and it doesn't matter if you make a mistake, you feel comfortable making that mistake, you'll learn from it. That's my bit of advice. I don't think I answered it very well, but
No, I think you did. And I think Kimberly may say something if you didn't. So, she can bring it up with you in Nashville and say, Mookie, you didn't answer my question, but now I got you cornered. But no, thank you. That was good. You talked about children having the instinctive know when to press the gas and the pedal. You've never seen my daughter drive her little kid Mercedes into walls and think that is funny. So neither here nor there. She's not seasoned yet. See, that's the problem. My question for you guys, Mookie, you talked about your children, they're adults, right? Iva, you are second generation in this industry and bringing your kids up, obviously, to make whatever decision they want. But Mookie, what do your children do, and have they ever had an interest or desire to follow in your footsteps as far as aviation? What does that look like?
tried to get my youngest. He's been interested in the military since he was in junior high school. So he did Navy Sea Cadets while we lived in Colorado. And then through that program, did hit the rank of Chief Petty Officer. Didn't get the sailor's mount either, but did get that while he was in high school, and then was an S3 in his JROTC program when we lived in San Antonio, and he graduated in San Antonio from high school there. Ended up getting a scholarship, a 3-year Army ROTC scholarship. So the youngest just graduated from Texas Tech, and starts on Saturday in Lawton, Oklahoma, going to Air Defense Artillery School. So he'll be trained to be a 14 Alpha on the Patriot missiles, which set up, if you've heard of Iron Domes that are being set up in the Middle East and around the world, that's what he'll be leading a platoon over the next few years, learning how to do that. My oldest is a fantastic creative writer, really good. He types 130 words a minute. He's a content writer for a website company called Dealer.com, which is owned by Cox Automotive. And so he has a remote job. The two boys couldn't be different, 27 and 22. But they've also had influences along the way. And I'll tell you, Karen Ellis, who all of you probably know who Karen is, Karen's had an influence on my youngest, on Arjun. And she's just as proud of him as I am, because she got to have him as an intern in San Antonio for a little while as a summer program. So we become legends by only having a bunch of leapers in our lives that keep us honest. And then the leapers do become legends over time, and giving back is key.
That's amazing. Iva, you are second generation in this industry. We talk about, even both of you talked about, creating a seat, and we've talked about kind of succession. What has that transition looked like for you, kind of with big shoes to fill, right? And is this something that you would also want for your children?
My gosh, I have the biggest shoes to fill. You know, my dad was taking me to bring your daughter to work day ever since I was a little girl. So I would walk SFO with him. And most of the people at SFO have known me since I was a little girl, like 10 years old. And so he's a legendary. When he goes, everyone's like, Mr. Chu, Mr. Chu, and they totally remember him. And I'm over here like in his shadow. And I hope to be like 10% of who he is, you know, one day. I hope one day to be like at least 10% of who my dad is. And I always look to him for advice. And I'm like, Dad, you have to teach me your ways. Like the reality is you're not going to be around forever. And this is, you know, I'm the second generation. You have to teach me, because people like seriously look up to him. He's like a Mookie. Like people really, I have such big shoes to fill. And I hope to teach those same values and things to my children as well. We talk a lot about philosophy and business and being a good person, being a kind human, and having integrity in your word. Is that integrity pillow. I love that, Mookie. Like I just had a talk last night to my husband about having integrity and being able to sleep every night and knowing I did the right thing and I did people well and I treated people well and I took care of my people. And that's my entire people, from my children to my staff to my community. It's so important because I didn't get here by myself. So, yeah.
Thank you. And I have one last question because it is May, right? So as an individual, and let me make sure I say all the acronyms to include everyone. Asian American Pacific Islander descent, right? What does the platform that you have and where you are today mean to you and to your heritage?
Either you want to go first?
It's huge. I mean, I think early on in my career, there was a book called Breaking the Bamboo Ceiling, right? Not just the glass ceiling, the bamboo ceiling. And, you know, I learned that very early on in my career, how to do that, how to have people be your megaphone. You know, you don't have people help you toot your horn. So thank you, Ramon, for providing this opportunity. But gosh, we are making waves in this world, and it's so exciting to see in media, in business, in tech. And, you know, you're in Silicon Valley, Mookie, like it's amazing. We're finally like getting our voice heard. And at the same time, there's all these Asian hate, which is really scary at the same time. So it's this weird par paradox that we're in kind of right now. So, but I'm here to bring out, whether you're a model minority or not. I mean, like, you know, I'm here to break those stereotypes and really show, you know, what we're capable of. And we're not going to be quiet, this behind the scenes person. We're going to get out in front and make it happen and show the world what we're capable of. So
Well,
very proud.
I now live in a community where 40% of the residents of San Jose are foreign born or are parents that are foreign born. So everywhere else I've lived in this country, and my parents are immigrants. They immigrated twice, from India to England and then England to America. So I'm British by birth. So I have no Indian accent. I have no American accent. Well, I have an American accent. There's some kind of Midwestern thing going on. I lost my British accent when I was 12, and I blame my fifth grade hormones for that, to try and talk American. But what I'll tell you is, my role models were just my parents. And my parents worked for 20 plus years in a factory in England. And then here they were independent motel owners until their business went bankrupt. And then they went back to England and then they left me behind. Stereotypes are a thing. Stereotypes are always a thing. No matter how you speak or what tone you speak in, or you see facial expressions sort of drop when you speak quote unquote normal to people, and only people who are of some different ethnicity or cultural heritage, or they look different, can only experience that. But it's weird for me to be in a community now where it's okay. But you know what the weird thing now is, oh, you don't work in tech? Oh, I can barely program my TV remote. I don't write code. I barely know how to use my iPhone. Um, so yeah, I'm a public servant and I work at the pleasure of the city manager. Oh, like the Parks and Rec guy? Yep, that's me. Run an airport just like the Parks and Rec guy runs a Parks and Rec. Um, so um, I may not be accomplished now to people of Indian or South Asian heritage because everybody who grows up looking like me is a doctor or a lawyer or a pharmacist or a neonatologist or it's weird for me to see 20 different Dr. Patels in my Kaiser plan that I can go pick from. So I'm kind of having a rebirth opportunity here. I'm always judging myself and where I fit in this world, and it keeps me on my toes. It's okay. I find humor in a lot of things, and it's okay for me to find humor in my diversity.
I love this for you. And I'm glad that you did not become a doctor or a neonatal Scientologist. Any of the other ones that anywhere else we could find a Patel. I'm glad that you chose aviation or aviation chose you, and that also that you stayed in the public sector too. This is you are walking right in the journey and the path and the footsteps that you're supposed to be in. And just from talking to you for this past hour and just everything that I'm getting text messages about you right now, Mookie. Is you are the right Patel for the job, okay?
If you need a discount at a Motel 6, you let me know. I'm sure.
Duly noted.
I mean, again, we're making fun of ourselves, and I'm good at that. But this is something that has caught me today is I need to connect Iva with a friend of mine in the LA area, who's fantastic and will help her make some connections at Lawa. So those are the things we learn from this thing, and we learn to give. And some days we get more virtual hugs than we do real ones, and that's fine. That's good.
Thank you guys so much. This has just been a wealth of knowledge. Mookie, one of the things that you said is like, you're not going to get wealthy staying in the public sector. You are probably one of the wealthiest people I know. And I'm just saying that off of the hour that I've spent with you. And I feel richer just having been in this conversation with both of you. So thank you, Iva. Thank you, Mookie, so much. Super excited. Excuse me. For everything that Mookie's going to continue to do, and just the little ripples that I was already started making are soon going to become some serious waves. So thank you all both so much.
Thank you. Sorry about your PG rating, Ramon. You just have to bleep me out a bunch of times.
That's fine. That's fine. I think that's a first. It's first time for everything, right? And anyway, just want to build on what Lauren said. Thank you, Iva and Mookie. Thank you for agreeing to do this. This was enriching, as Lauren had said. Just want to add a couple of housekeeping notes. This is being recorded. We are going to upload this to our YouTube channel, so you can watch it hopefully by tomorrow, or at least before the end of the week. So if you want to hear back any of the great nuggets like integrity pillow. So I think I'm gonna trademark that, Mookie, you and I. Or here, Iva dropped the S word. I can't say that right now. Just can't. I'm a good Christian, so I can't. But if you want to rewatch it, it will be available in a couple days. And also, I will end this here. Like I mentioned at the top of the program, please make sure you register for the conference. Just go to amac-org.com/annual conference. Registration is open. It has been open, but more importantly, rooms are going. So make sure you register so you can get your rooms and enjoy what will be the best conference to date. Anyway, thank you to everyone. God bless. Have a safe week, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. See you at
Bye.
conference. Bye.